is going on YouTube? But Great Blades here, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Civivi Badlands Vagabond. Start with the overall measurement here. So we're looking at just under 7.5 inches, about 7.4. Blade length, we're looking at about 3.3 with a 3-inch cutting edge. Measure the blade stock thickness here. So we're looking at about 110 thousandths, pretty slicey. Then we will measure the weight. So this one is the carbon fiber ones. They also had the G10 ones, but this one's the carbon fiber one, so it'll probably weigh a little bit less. Looking at 3.05 ounces, maybe 3 ounces, right around there. So pretty much at an ounce an inch there for this carbon fiber version. Do a size comparison with the Demco 20.5, this one with original goat scales on it, link them down below, and then the QSP Penguin. So in terms of overall size here, it's going to be, we're at a little bit of an angle here, but it's pretty much exactly the same size as the, actually maybe just a little bit longer actually than the 20.5, and then also a bit longer than the QSP Penguin. It does have a longer handle though, but not too bad. Then we'll do carry profile and thickness here. So compared to the 20.5, it's going to be thinner than that. And then compared to the QSP Penguin, it is even just a little bit thinner than that. Real thin. And these scales are flat, so they're a little bit thinner. Won't be too bad to carry, and it's not particularly tall either, so it won't be too bad. So this one, like I said, this one is the carbon fiber and Damascus variant. This one I think is like a twill, sort of a twill pattern carbon fiber. It's actually pretty nice. And this is a early Civivi design, so you know this one's a couple years older now, but discontinued now as well. But this one a little bit nicer here on the carbon fiber. It is just pure carbon fiber. It's not, and then those are the steel liners here. If I can zoom in just a little bit. So they're not bonded to like G10 or anything like that. It's just carbon fiber scales, both on the front and the back, which is nice. It's got a little bit of a cut here for like a faux bolster look, bolster look, which is cool. I think the G10 ones actually have that the same cut in there to mirror it, but it also looks like they milled the carbon fiber a little bit differently here. So this one, kind of has the zigzag, pattern going on here, a little bit of micro milling for a little bit of texture here, and then the bolster at the top is just flat, unmilled, just cut carbon fiber. Damascus, so for Civivi, I think they've tended to use like a 9CR and 10CR blend, which is, not fantastic as far as, Damascus, but, it is still pretty decent as far as, like, budget Damascus goes, I think it's kind of similar to, like, VG10, maybe on the lower end, depending on like the heat treat, closer to like 440A, which again, not fantastic, but for like a budget Damascus, it's really not that bad. The etch is okay. This is one of their earlier models for Damascus, so I think they were still kind of figuring some things out, but the etch is okay. It's a little more dark and not so contrasty compared to some of their newer stuff that they've done, but they still also make this from time to time on their more recent models. But they also have like a shiny, like almost polished Damascus that they do. I think it's still the 9CR 10CR combo, but they just brighten it up a little bit more, which I think looks a little bit nicer, but it's not bad. What was I gonna say? Hollow grind here on the blade. It does get pretty thin down there, nice and thin. It is a flipper and thumb stud combo. Flipping action feels pretty crisp. The action's pretty good, centered, and then the thumb stud's also pretty good for opening them. Same thing with the reverse flick here. Oops. That one actually feels really good. It is a liner lock. It is jimped here, if we can take a look. It is jimped here on the lock bar for a little bit of extra, grip here. I do wish that they had scalloped this side of the scale here just a little bit. It's not awful or anything like that, but I just think it would have been a little more comfortable to go in from the side this way instead of, kind of positioning your thumb almost straight up and down to disengage the lock. But it's not that bad. Thumb studs are pretty comfortable, honestly, and they're far enough out of the way. They're pretty much right in line with that little finger choil or sharpening choil here that they got, so they won't be too in the way in terms of your cutting path, which is nice. What was I gonna say? I guess you would call this a drop point, maybe a spear point, probably drop point though, I would say. For the blade shape, like I said, this was made by Civivi, early Civivi, 2021, 2020, somewhere around there, I believe. And yeah, I think back then this was about $90. They are discontinued now. You can still find them occasionally on a few different retailers, but for the most part, they are discontinued. They also did make just plain like satin blade versions, no carbon fiber. That was just the G10. It was G10, satin, and I think they used just 9CR for the blade, which again, for the price, isn't too bad. I think those were like $40 maybe, 40 or $50 at the time. So honestly, not too bad for a budget brand, a budget knife, I should say. But this was actually one of the first Civivi knives I ever got. Well, I got this one and another one. I don't think I have it handy on me at the moment, but this one and another one I got at the same time. I was browsing Blade HQ at the time. I was still very, very new into, like really getting into collecting pocket knives, but I was browsing Blade HQ and I saw this one and the Civivi Riffle were both on pre-order, and it was like a $10 deposit or something like that, and then, whenever they came out, you just pay the rest of the balance there. Yeah, so I got this one and the Riffle. That one, the Riffle, was sandalwood for the scale, and also Damascus, similar style, etched and everything like that, Damascus. But those were the first two that I ever got from Civivi, And I've had a couple Civivis even since then, but truthfully I haven't really what was I gonna say? I haven't really bought a ton of knives from them. I do have a couple, but I never really got like a whole bunch from them. And now, especially with their newer stuff, I think I might go back to them because even though a lot of them are still in that budget territory, they do still have some pretty good knives. I think early on they were just kind of testing things out. They weren't doing anything too crazy, but I think that also gave a little bit of charm to some of their knives in that sense. I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain, I think, but they definitely have some really good ones now. They collaborate with a lot of different knife makers, and they do collab pieces and different things like that. They have like the Civivi, like the Vision FG. They have what's it called? The Hide, something like that, with O Stop Hell. So they do, or I should say, they have come a long way since their earlier days. I mean, Civivi, I think, is over 10 years old now. So, what, 2015 or so? 2014 maybe? They kind of were first coming out. Back then, I wasn't really into knives like I am now. But I was also in high school, I guess I would have been, or late middle school. But I wasn't really into knives like that, so I didn't know about them. But they definitely have some good stuff going on now, which I do appreciate, even though they are kind of basic. I mean, this is just a, stamped steel clip, steel liner, kind of basic, blade shape, very knife shaped, I would say, pretty basic. But it is still pretty cool in its own respect. And like I was saying, their new stuff, they've got some pretty cool stuff. The what was it? The Star Flare? Something like that? I'll put a picture up here. I might have got the name wrong too, but I'll put a picture up here of the one I'm talking about. That button lock that they had. That one was pretty cool. And I definitely want to grab that, I think, at some point. Yeah, and they've got some cool stuff coming up too that I want to check out. But yeah, this one's not too crazy. It is actually, I just was noticing, it is, I don't know if you're going to be able to see that, probably not, but it is milled on the inside of that steel liner, so there is some weight reduction as well. Oh, and I forgot to mention as well, the backspacer here is G10, so you got a little G10 backspacer here, which I just think is neat. They could have just, had it free floating if they really wanted to and just do some standoffs, but they put a little backspacer there, which I think is cool. It is also left-handed. You can carry it lefty as well. The clip, you can just flip it around and you can carry it lefty. It is only tip up carry, which is fine. I mean, tip up, tip down, personally, most of the time it doesn't really bother me. It's fine. But ergonomically, it's pretty nice. There is that big forward finger choil there. It's not locking you in too crazy in here. It's pretty much just a straight line, but it is comfortable. You feel the clip just a teeny tiny bit, maybe for me anyways, right about here, but it's not so bad that, if you're using this for a while, I don't think it would really dig into your hand too bad. Retention's okay. It's a little on the tight side. In and out of the pocket, it's definitely going to be a two-hander, but again, that doesn't really bother me that much. It's fine. Yeah, I think that's going to be pretty much it, though. Yeah, one of my first Civivis here, long discontinued by now, I think, but you can still find them occasionally. Pretty solid budget knife. The 9CR just satin G10 ones, like I said, about 40 or 50 bucks, so not too bad. But that's gonna be pretty much it. Let me know what you guys think down below on the Civivi Badlands Vagabond. This one the Damascus and the carbon fiber. I actually really like this carbon fiber, especially for a budget knife, or budget brand, I should say. This one's a little above budget price, I'd say, almost $100. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Bye.